chatting with Wayne Garcia.
That's
Welcome,
great.
Wayne. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How you doing?
Wayne Garcia, our political whore.
Indeed.
I'm
Yes.
not doing
Well, I'm everyone's political whore, but I'm especially yours.
And that's what I love about you,
Yeah, I
baby.
know it.
You know, we're not doing as good as you are because we didn't get to write your cover story, the presidential candidates stumping through Florida.
Yes,
Tell us about
indeed.
that.
Well, two things I had going on this week, and one is we continue our series looking at all of the major candidates in both parties, and there's like 17 of them.
Right now, right.
I may not get to some whose polling numbers are a hyphen.
But you're
instead of a
talking
real
about the
number.
Law and Order guy, right?
Yeah,
Don't
but
even register.
so this week we wrote about Rudy Giuliani, who is the Republican front runner.
right.
Can I tell you though, I'm not a political whore like yourself, but I'm a political.
You're a politically astute guy.
No,
Well,
not really.
astute,
Okay.
no.
Politically
He knows a
ignorant.
little bit
Okay.
about
But
it.
I like Rudy.
Well, and
I
that's,
like him. I like who he is.
and that's the factor. The number one thing that he has going for him is really
9/11
that
and the
9/11 and the exposure that he had and the strength that he showed in the wake of that, while our president was flying around. Whether you think
Reading
it was
books to
bad or
people in
whatever.
Sarasota.
He was essentially the man who led us through that nightmare because we saw him on TV, and for a lot of people, he's our mayor. And especially
Yeah.
if you sort of if you're from New York, especially, or New Jersey, or the Northeast, you sort of have this feeling of affinity for Mayor Giuliani, and so that is really his number one strength.
But you see, I have two comments on that. One, is everybody overlooking the fact that he cheated on his wife? He's been married like 85 times.
that's
But
irrelevant.
number two, John McCain
Gotta
is
go right to the sex then.
But John
Isn't it
McCain
amazing?
is
Who cares?
is also Republican, and he's trailing Rudy Giuliani. Yet
Yeah.
he's lived. He served in the military. I mean, he's done everything right.
So
Why
apparently
do
it
you
doesn't
think-
matter, does it?
When it does matter. Why
Not
do you?
really.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't. But why do you think? Is it because of 9/11 that Rudy
Well,
is?
and this is the thing that's so important about all the polling that happens right now. The polling right now really is only measuring that people have heard of a person's name. I mean, there's very
Right.
little of that polling that's going to people who
What
really
they
understand
think.
what the different issues are and everything else. And so you have the celebrities are atop the polls. Hillary Clinton, because she was in the White House for 8 years with Bill,
Yeah.
and Rudy Giuliani, because he's been on TV a lot. Now, it's funny because when you look at the trends, Rudy Giuliani in a couple of key states is really trending down badly at the same time that Fred Thompson is trending up.
And
And,
that- do you
what
know
I
what that
and I
is?
call it the
Okay.
superstar factor, because there are people who just want to
Right.
be for the famous guy, the celebrity, and so some of that is shifting allegiances. But what we're trying to do in the articles is look at what are their real
The
issues.
issues,
Yeah,
right.
what are the real issues? I mean, the horse race is one thing, and I think it is important to sort of keep that in mind, but it's not why you shouldn't vote for your candidate based on who you think is going to win the race. Because if that's the way we're choosing a president, we're not going to Derby
Right.
Lane.
Right, right.
So the odds
Gamble.
have nothing to do with it. You should choose someone who you think is going to do the best job and who reflects the interests and the issues that you care
Your
about.
beliefs,
So,
sure.
but with Rudy Giuliani, it does stem from 9/11, and so it has to do with security and going after terrorists and being tough on those kind of things. In a smarter way than President Bush, he maintains. And then also, I mean, he did a lot of things in New York City with cutting crime and improving the economy.
Oh, Midtown alone, he just
if you remember,
revitalized.
Manhattan was a
Cesspool.
cesspool. Yeah, before he took over and afterward. And now you can complain that he was too harsh and the police were too rough, and there were certain civil liberties liberties taken with civil rights. However, the fact is that city is a very different place. And so one of the things he's trying to do in his campaign is to tell people, I can do that same thing for America, using sort of the same model that we had there. And so he's got to go out and explain that. So that's what he's been doing. And then the other thing that I did was I went to Orlando and saw all of the Democratic candidates fishing for Latino votes at the biggest Latino political convention that is going on. So they were all there, mostly trying to speak Spanish. Bill Richardson, of course, is Mexican American, so he speaks fluent Spanish. And Christopher Dodd, remarkably, because he was in the Peace Corps in the Dominican Republic, speaks perfect Spanish.
You're
I
kidding
mean,
me.
beautiful, perfect inflection and everything. So it was an interesting look at how they're wooing our largest minority group, and the fastest growing minority group are Latinos.
Well, it makes perfect sense, though, especially since, I mean, you're talking about the campaigning, obviously, 20 seconds on this, started a lot earlier this year by the internet, viral marketing, and all that kind of stuff than it ever has. It's ridiculous that there's this much exposure before we even get to find out
Months
who
and
we've even
months
heard
and
about.
months
Yeah.
and months. Yep.
So then parlaying into see and do's, not see and do's so much as the readers poll.
Readers poll, yeah. This is actually, since it's slow and since summer, so if you pick up an issue of Creative Loafing, our readers poll is out. The deadline is August 8th. Every year we look at the best of Tampa Bay, the best.
No, you don't, Wayne. Okay, you want to take this outside? There is no media talk host.
I know.
How did that slip by?
Well, best media talk host would have been an interesting category, and then and then there's going to be one who's up and one who's down. We didn't want to go there. So
no, yeah, we couldn't.
But
I wouldn't want to win.
these are just the readers' polls, and then we choose our own. So we may have best talk show hosts and those kind of things. But for this, everything from best restaurants and best theater troupe and best local band, biggest waste of tax money. You want to weigh in on biggest waste of tax money? Put that down. Best local newspaper reporter, best local columnist, those kind of things. 50 categories for the readers to choose. You can do it either on the old-fashioned way by writing with a pen.
But tell them that you get stuff like that. Or people mail that in, don't they?
They do.
It's amazing.
Hundreds of them. Or you can go online to creativeloafing.com and do it online.
It's amazing.
Well, we'll be voting for you for best journalist in the Bay Area.
Best political whore.
There you go.